Prosecutors have finished their questioning of Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in the hip-hop mogul sex trafficking and racketeering trial in New York City. We want to warn viewers that some may find the details in this report disturbing.
What if the glittering facade of a music titan, a man who defined an era of style and sound, hid a truth so dark it would send shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry? Imagine the power, the parties, the private jets. But behind that velvet rope, a story of alleged control, brutalization, and torment was unfolding. Now that narrative has burst into the harsh light of day, with claims of a $20 million settlement for silence, a car allegedly bombed in a fit of jealous rage, and sexual encounters so demeaning they reportedly left physical scars and infections.
The singer says she felt, quote, trapped during one incident she described on the stand. Ventura claims that Combs allegedly threatened to blackmail her with videos from the so-called freak-offs after he found out that she was dating rapper Kid Cudi during a break from their 10-year relationship in 2011. The 38-year-old singer also addressed the physical abuse she claims she sustained, including incidents that left her with bruises and a permanent eyebrow scar. Ventura also described an alleged violent encounter with Combs that occurred at the late singer Prince's house. The defense will begin its cross-examination of Ventura on Thursday. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison.
This is the unraveling of an empire built on image, now threatened by the weight of horrifying accusations and the challenging task for prosecutors to prove these acts crossed federal lines with demonstrable force or coercion. For years, Sean Diddy Combs, the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records, was more than a music producer. He was a cultural phenomenon. Alongside him often was Cassie Ventura, a talented singer whose career he helped launch when she was just 19 and he was 37. To the outside world, they were a power couple, their lives a whirlwind of red carpets and chart-topping hits. It seemed aspirational. But according to a torrent of disturbing claims, this dream was, for Cassie, a meticulously crafted prison. Reports from a hypothetical trial suggest that the prosecution aimed to prove one chilling point above all: coercion, specifically linked to the federal charges of interstate trafficking for sexual activity. The dam finally broke when Cassie Ventura filed a bombshell lawsuit, an act of immense bravery. The lawsuit detailed years of alleged horror, claims of brutal physical beatings, relentless psychological torment, and accusations of being forced into hundreds of freak-offs. Though the lawsuit was quickly settled, reportedly for a staggering $20 million, the details lingered. Then, the infamous 2016 hotel surveillance video emerged. The images were stark: Combs, in a towel, allegedly assaulting Cassie. He reportedly took her belongings. She later took a selfie showing a fat lip. The world watched, aghast. But even more astonishingly, reports from the trial suggested prosecutors presented a different 15-minute version of this 2016 assault, believed by some to be from the original hard drive, possibly seized by feds from Combs's own safe.
And we did hear testimony about that incident that many people have seen now, the 2016 hotel altercation that took place at the Intercontinental in Los Angeles. Cassie says after that she told Combs, quote, "Please stay far away from me." Last half of her testimony Wednesday focused on how she handled the alleged abuse. What do you want to tell us?
So as far as how we even got here, we really learned that last like 5 minutes or so where she describes 2023 being a time where she went to rehab.
Observers noted this longer version, showing Cassie calmly preparing to leave before being attacked, might actually look worse for Combs than the previously leaked footage, undermining defense claims that the initial video was misleadingly edited. The defense, however, maintained this fight was a domestic dispute over a cell phone and another woman, a state matter with expired statutes, not related to a federal freak-off. As Cassie reportedly testified, fighting back only made Combs more violent. After the 2016 hotel incident, she claimed he banged on her apartment door, and she sought refuge with friends, later wearing glasses to an after-party to hide a black eye. But the core of the federal case revolved around the freak-offs, allegedly coerced group sexual encounters involving escorts Cassie was reportedly forced to arrange. She stated this was all we do. The threat of releasing SX tapes was allegedly a constant blackmail tool. She testified to once texting him in 2023, pleading for him to delete the videos. However, legal analysts scrutinizing the hypothetical trial noted moments where the direct link between these threats and specific federally chargeable acts of coerced interstate sexual activity seemed less explicit in her reported testimony. For instance, she said he threatened to release videos to shame her while she was seeing someone else. While this could be state-level extortion, it wasn't directly tied in that moment to forcing her into a freak-off. The physical toll of these alleged encounters was devastating, with Cassie reportedly speaking of constant UTIs and mouth sores. On her 29th birthday, she was allegedly pulled out of the Blind Dragon Club for a freak-off. This detail, pulled out, caught the attention of observers, as it could imply the direct force or coercion needed for federal charges, though it was noted prosecutors didn't extensively follow up on the exact mechanics of her being pulled out in that reported exchange. The allegations of control and violence extended further. Cassie reportedly testified about Combs going armed to look for Suge Knight and instructing her to vet escorts. She described him attacking her before a Canadian music festival, leading to an eye injury. At the Cannes Film Festival, after accusing her of stealing drugs and throwing her off his boat, her passport still aboard, he allegedly, on the commercial flight back to New York, played freak-off videos for her on his laptop, saying he'd release them. She then testified she participated in a freak-off upon landing to make him not threaten me. Again, while horrific, legal commentators questioned if the prosecution had definitively completed the circle by eliciting testimony that he explicitly said, "Do this freak off or I release the videos," rather than her acting out of a generalized, albeit entirely understandable, fear of his threats. The alleged abuse wasn't confined to Cassie. She reportedly testified to seeing Combs assault various associates. Drugs were allegedly a constant, with Combs reportedly providing pills and having doctors write scripts. One of the most explosive claims involved Kid Cudi. When Combs allegedly discovered Cassie's brief 2011 relationship with Cudi, he reportedly threatened her, and later, astonishingly, told her he wanted Cudi's friends to see Cudi's car blown up. When Cudi reportedly confronted Combs, Combs feigned ignorance. In March 2024, federal agents raided Combs's properties, reportedly linked to sex trafficking investigations. The public watched as the trial unfolded, with jurors reportedly viewing graphic evidence on private screens. Cassie's lawsuit was not the only one. Other accusers have stepped forward. Even after their relationship officially ended in 2018, the trauma allegedly lingered.
She said this was after an incident where she said, "I didn't want to be alive." This is her words. "I didn't want to be alive at this point." She was shooting a music video, and she said she thought back to what she says she experienced, and she had these flashbacks. She says, "I remember coming home to my children and my husband and looking at my husband and saying, 'You can do this without me.'" She describes walking into traffic. She then says through the rehab, she started writing. And when she was finished with all of the writing, she had a book.
Cassie spoke of PTSD and keeping a knife by her door. In August 2018, she alleged Combs came to her house and ripped her. While a heinous crime, analysts noted this, as described, would primarily be a state matter unless prosecutors could link it to the broader pattern of coercion for federal sex trafficking purposes. She admitted to consensual sex with him again after this, explaining, "We had been together 10 years. She reportedly sought $30 million for a tell-all book before the $20 million lawsuit settlement, testifying she spoke out because, 'I can't carry this anymore.' She claimed they had hundreds of freak-offs. The prosecution's challenge, observers noted, was to meticulously connect each alleged act of abuse and control directly to the coercion of interstate sexual activity to meet the high bar for federal charges. For example, regarding the 2016 hotel beating, the question remained, was she beaten in the hallway to force her back for a second freak-off session, as she testified was planned, or was it in the room? Proving that specific link, perhaps by calling the Essex worker present, would be crucial. From a celebrated icon to a man facing a maelstrom of accusations, the unraveling of Sean Combs' image has been brutal. The defense is expected to attack inconsistencies and motives. But this saga forces a hard look at power, consent, and hidden realities. Is this a tipping point for accountability? As investigations and legal proceedings hypothetically continue, the world watches, wondering what the future holds and whether the full damning truth, sufficient for federal conviction, will emerge. The final act is unwritten, leaving a chilling uncertainty.